So today I'm going to do an update on a stock that I own that just did a really impressive trading update, and we're going to go through that. Now, this stock I believe is currently the best airline stock to own. It's a stock that I've owned for around about 2 years. I'm currently up about 70% on this position, but I feel like with this trading update, it is now set to go even higher than that in the next 12 months. And I'm not really in for it for the short term. Obviously, I always invest for long term, 2 to 5 years, but I do believe this trading update has now set this stock up to go on a very good run this year if everything is delivered like they said. So this stock is Jet2, and like I said, I've owned this for around about 2 years now. I bought this stock in this CV dip, and in a couple of periods as well I have been averaging up on this position, and in the next 12 months I do believe that if they do deliver, this will break the previous all-time highs set by this company before the CV time. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. So we're going to go through the trading update that Jet2 released on the 8th of April. Now, this trading update did send the stock on a good run. It did send the stock up 6% up on the day, and there was a lot of good information in here. So basically what it said, if I do this very quickly, is that they saw really good improvements in October and November when the government dropped their traffic light system. Obviously we know restrictions is basically a lot of the reason why people are still not travelling. So that drop there meant that the numbers in October and November were very good. Unfortunately though, because there was a new CV variant, we have to be very careful because of YouTube nowadays, there was a new CV variant, they basically saw a massive drop off in the bookings, and obviously restrictions were rumoured to come back, and that did affect numbers. However, what they have said recently is they have seen now, because obviously the CV situation isn't looking to be as serious, and also we don't currently have to take post-arrival lateral flow test, is now the return to very strong booking numbers. And you can see here, bookings increasing with average load factors for February and March 2022 approaching seasonal norms as customer confidence in travelling internationally rallied. So you can see here that the booking numbers going through February and March 2022 are now actually getting to previously seasonal normality. So basically Jet2 is coming out and saying that we are back now at a point where CV didn't exist. So the confidence of people to go back on holiday is really good, and this should send Jet2 to doing potentially very close to previous numbers they were doing prior to the CV situation. So this is really good. Jet2 coming out and saying that normality is nearly back here with this company. And the company said that it expects losses this year to be between 378 million to 383 million, which we expected. Unfortunately, we did kind of hope that 2021 was going to be a bounce back year, normality coming back. It hasn't happened. So 2020 has been a bit of a write-off, 2021 has been a bit of a write-off, and 2022 could potentially be where we get back to normality, looking at how these bookings are going at last. Total cash balance around 2.23 billion, so we've got a good cash balance. We'll talk a bit more about the balance sheet in a minute, but cash is very heavy at the moment. And we can see here that they also said that on sale seat capacity for summer 2022, hopefully the first normal summer of travel for a lot of these businesses, especially Jet2, is approximately 14% higher than summer 2019, and bookings are encouraging. Package holiday customers are also displaying a materially higher mix of the total at 12 ppts, and average load factors for the summer 2022 season are currently 2.5 ppts behind summer 2019 at the same point, against a 14% increase seat capacity. So we can see here that we are starting to see numbers getting very, very close to 2019 levels, which is really good. So looking at this, hopefully if everything lines up well, we could see Jet2 put very close numbers in to where they were pre-CV. So this could be the potential lining up here of Jet2 doing their first year this year of really good numbers. Now when we look at Jet2, what they were doing previously, you can see this company here was one of the only airlines that you really saw decent amounts of revenue growth and good amounts of profit growth in this business. Now, if we look what analysts are predicting, which we can see here, you can see the write-off in March 2021. You can see what's going to be the write-off really in March 2022. Slight bit of improvement, but not too much. You can see what analysts are actually forecasting here. Analysts are actually forecasting the company to go do 4.3 billion in revenue and 200 million in profit. Now if we do compare that just before the CV times, you can see the company here was doing 3.5 billion and 111 million in profit. Now personally for me, I think analysts have been very optimistic here. I never had Jet2 to do this amount of recovery at this period of time. So if analysts are right and Jet2 do go and do these numbers, this is way ahead of my expectations. And if they do these numbers, this is way impressive, because look at the improvement from the 2019-2020 period to where they were, to where they could potentially be now. That would be a massive amounts of improvement. And the companies does seem to have confidence, because what they are doing now is they have exercised 6 of our purchase rights for the recently announced new Airbus, so they are buying new planes as well. We'll get more of an update as well when we get to the 7th of July 2022, and we'll get a good outlook on how the summer period is going, and hopefully as well the demand for travel might increase even more then. But going back to the forecast side of it, if we start talking that if in a year's time Jet2 do these numbers, this is going to be really impressive. This is going to put the company somewhere around about down at a 12 times earnings, which is really good. And we'll also put the company down at like a 0.5 times the sales as well, which would be very impressive numbers. So yeah, we'll see what happens at this point of view, but it all looks promising here. And I guess the only, once again, the risk that it does have at the moment is if another CV variant does come. If the CV variant does come, that would be the only risk to really Jet2 not performing. And even if if that did happen to Jet2, the great thing about here is this company has massive amounts of cash on its balance sheet. It's got 2 billion in cash, well 2.3 billion now, sitting in cash on that balance sheet. So that would be, we would be okay from that situation. Obviously now after 2 years of paying, we don't want that to happen, but it is in a very healthy position. And this is why I've always liked Jet2, is that unlike a lot of other airlines, it has a pretty decent balance sheet. And as well, when it comes to the growth, previously it's had very good revenue and profit growth, and going forward, it's going to come actually out of the CV situation with even a better financial performance than when it went in. And how many airlines can you say that about? It's capitalized on a lot of other airlines that have struggled in the last 2 years. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Jet2, but the numbers they're currently coming out with is pretty good. The forecast is very good. And like I said, when I go back to the share price point of view, is that I'm currently 70% up on this position. But if Jet2 do go on to deliver these financial results in 2023, I expect this stock to be a lot higher than where it is right now. I expect to be up over 100% on my positions, and I feel like that this stock will be pushing new all-time highs on the stock chart if it does deliver them numbers, which would be more than 100% up. But we don't want to get too carried away, and that's in the short term. And I don't normally like going in the short term. Obviously, I like going for the longer term, 2 to 5 years. And looking at that 2 to 5 year range, it does really look like this business has been really well set up in the next few months and years to capitalize. And as a shareholder in the next few years, it looks like I will do very well coming, hopefully, if this is the last of it, coming out of the CV situation. This business has done well and should do well and return that in financials and share price performance. So yeah, looking good as a Jet2 shareholder. And yeah, like I said, I think in my opinion this is by far the best airline to be owning. And I don't like airline stocks, but this is the only one that I've ever seen that I go, it's a pretty good business that they're doing here. So yeah, thought I'd do a little bit of an update on this one after some really positive news. And congratulations to all you Jet2 shareholders as well that have been potentially holding for the last 2 years as well. Sometimes you look at this point of view, is that from a shareholder point of view, we basically had nothing for a year and 3 months. In that time you can be like, oh, this stock's doing nothing, it's doing nothing, when all that's created is a good buying opportunity. And then hopefully we're going to start getting these rewards now, and when these financials start coming in, we should do very well on the share price front. So yeah, well done to you Jet2 shareholders. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit.